that brings us to our first section of the show, which will be our icebreakers. And we're going to pose this question to you, who we've also posed this to everyone else on the show. And you get to be the first female to answer this, is how has the pandemic life been for you over this past year? That's almost just about a year from now that we've been into this. How has it been for
Yeah,
you? And just tell us a little bit about that.
for sure. I think like everyone, it's been challenging in many different ways. And for me personally, I guess the challenge would be to entertain two little girls, both under the age of 3. One's 3 and the other is almost 2. And so without parks to go to or birthday parties or shopping malls or anything, it was just a challenge to figure out like, how are we going to use our time? And I think although it was challenging, it was also really equally rewarding. I think a lot of, especially families, found that it was really refreshing to have so much time together. You actually saw people picnicking out on their grass. Everyone's cars were parked, in their parking lots, and everybody was really spending time with each other. And it might have felt like a little too much time, but for me, it was a really good time to just make the most of a difficult situation. And I feel like we did that. Just tried to find something good in each day, even though it seemed like it lasted forever, and we're still trudging through it as we speak. So
Well, awesome, definitely. So for those who may not be familiar with who you are, just kind of give us a little bit of background on who Joy Owens is. And
yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joy Owens. I'm a California-born artist currently residing in the beautiful state of Texas with my husband, Hayden, and my 2 girls. And my full-time thing is art, creativity, both with my girls as well as experimenting with all kinds of mediums. I do painting, I do some sculpting in clay, I do some mixed media. It's really where my heart's at, as well as delving into drawing, a little digital sketching, kind of anything creative is what I like to do. That's my jam. So
nice. Well, talking about this kind of stuff is our jam.
yeah, glad we're here.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what over the last year of circumstances, and this will kind of be for everyone, what has it kind of done for you and for your creativity? What have been some of those challenges
Yeah.
or enlightening moments throughout this pandemic? Has there been any output, and what have you kind of learned from all this?
I wish I could say that I like created a whole body of work because I had so much extra time during quarantine, but let's get real. I was trying to keep kids alive and happy. So, but it was like, I feel like it was like an incubator or like a pressure cooker. You have so much time to kind of conceptualize different ideas, read some books, as well as just writing down different ideas that I had. And I feel like I was able to gather a lot of that so that I have a starting point now, because since college, I had to take a break after moving from Dallas back and forth, as well as having a family. And now it finally feels like I have the time and space for it, especially with the extra time provided from the pandemic. So I feel like it was good because it really showed me where my priorities were and how I can use my time. And so now I feel like I'm really geared up and focused to begin anew. I have a lot of new ideas for a new body of work. And I think hard times can either encourage us to get innovative, or they will push us to our limits. And so I think it depends on how we react to it. We could say, I think we're like one of 2 people usually. Either we feel like we kind of just wasted our time, or we could say, this was a gift and we can use it wisely and use it to find all the different things that we love in life, and use it to do things that we wouldn't normally have time for, like reading or writing or binge watching our favorite movies.
Right. What about you, Lane? has creativity or, any kind of motivation been a challenge for you during this? Or and what are some of the output that you've experienced, kind of based on what Joy was saying?
Yeah, for me personally, I've probably listened to the most amount of music I've ever listened to in my life the past year.
Yeah.
And listen to music that I normally never would, but just because it's like, well, what else do I have to do? It's like, why not? And so I explored a lot of music the past year. And not only that, but it made me kind of miss the days of playing live music. So I've played my acoustic bass that
Yeah.
I've kept in the closet for a long time, like the most I ever have. And it's been a really fun
Dusted it off.
time. But yeah, no, yeah, the strings were really, really raunchy, but I was like, you know what, it's fine, it works, it'll play the note. But for me personally, like I said, music, it's like it became, it's always been a part of me, but like this past year especially, like I've really relied on artists that continue to sacrifice and put out new stuff and play live shows on the internet as opposed to in person. So it's really cool to see Reese knows some of our favorite bands still playing live shows and being able to cater to their audiences. So it's like even though the circumstances, like Joy said, they get innovative and work your way around it, and so it was cool to see that happen and be able to take something away from it.
Definitely. I know for me, like the way my creativity process kind of works is I constantly have different ideas and concepts flowing through me. It's just a matter of having the time to sit down and do them. Or like if I do have an idea, whether it's like for a song or something, like I'll have a chance to like put a voice memo on my phone to like hum a melody or a beat or something like that. Or if it's a design idea, I could sketch something down really quick. Or if it's a song idea, I'll run to my computer and like build like 5 seconds of the idea so I don't forget. And so like there's all these different things that like I've done pre-pandemic in that way to kind of organize my thoughts and my ideas. But given the pandemic, it's given me a lot of more time to be able to finally execute some of those ideas, to the point where it kind of got out of control to some point where I had so many projects going on at once. I had to start focusing in on the things that I was the most passionate about. But that's kind of been how this has really kind of brought everything together for me, is taking these ideas that I've had that I've never had the time for before and finally get to execute on them. So that's been really fun and really neat experience, and kind of show myself what I can do, outside of my normal working job of, 8 to 5, and what else I can apply to myself, or different ideas and things like that to execute in my off time. So that's kind of my experience has been like.
I think that's what it showed everybody, is kind of what life is like, outside of like the four walls of the workplace, and what we can really do with our time whenever we're not using the excuse that I have work. It's like, okay, now I have the time to pursue whatever passions I have. So no excuses. And I think it is eye-opening for a lot of people who allowed it to, to do that for them.
Right. And I know sometimes people have felt like isolated, and that's really hard for the creative process. And so I'm sure a large portion of last year was kind of, I know for me for a while, I was just kind of like stumped. It didn't know where to go as far as like, new ideas or new concepts, or just kind of every day felt like the same day. And so it wasn't until I like buckled down and realized that I do have the time and I have all these ideas to execute now. It's like, if I just go after it and do it, it'll get done at the end of the day.
Right.
So
I guess because creative people, we're very experiential, and whenever our experience is limited, sometimes it can be harder to get those wheels turning again, because we're not out there going to different places and experiencing different environments. We kind of have to like create it ourselves or find it in whatever way. And I feel like that was something that I was really challenged to do. It's like, okay, every day is going to be kind of a rerun of the last day unless I make it a little different. And so it was kind of like each day was like a hunt to find the silver lining. So some days it would be like going out and finding rocks and painting them bright colors with my kids, and other days it would be like having a picnic by the lake or gathering blackberries and honeysuckles, just something little that kind of made the day feel significant and different and something beautiful, like in the mundane.
Oh, for sure.
There's a song there, Beauty in the Mundane.
You know, going off.
I'm not a musician,
what
so
you said,
guys.
Joy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, beauty in the mundane. That's a good point. What contributes to this past year? So my fiance and I are leaders at Chick-fil-A. So when I take over, he's serving our community. So it's really a cool escape because I'm like, well, I'm doing what I love, and I'm still being able to listen to the creativity that I love, and it's literally a win-win. And I'm like having the time of my life. And everyone's like, how can you do this? Boring. I'm like, no, it's only boring if you make it boring. I was like, you have to. Can I just put that on a T-shirt? I was like, sure, go ahead, but you know, you can quote me. You know, it really is. It's what you make of it, for sure. So
yeah,
awesome.
definitely.